And that is why option B is correct. Yes, option B is correct for your 9. Alright, so we are done with 1 to 10. Alright, what about the close comprehension? I purposely set this close comprehension because it is what I taught you in class. True or false? And you should be able to do better. I don't expect anyone to score less than 9/10 in that close comprehension. I should even see some that score 10/10. Alright, do we need to look at that? Yes. Do we need to look at that? Alright, so let's look at it briefly. Is that okay? So you listen up, you listen up, you listen up, please. It says, those of you at the back, can you just pay attention and not distract us? It says, on the 21st of June, 1994, the Director General received in his office a visitor, the first of its kind in his life. Even though he really could not make any meaning out of his name, the visitor's second statement that he was a cult dash readily give the Director General a clear picture of the man's purpose. Now, you might not be able to choose the correct answer there until you read the next word, sentence. And the next sentence says, he immediately gave the Director General 2 sets of paper. 2 sets of paper. I will say there is a court agent or a court messenger that is responsible for giving people lawsuit. What is the name called? What is the name called? Bailey. Yes, it's a called Bailey, and that is why option A is correct there. What did you go for? Messenger. Yeah, some went for messenger. So if you are A and you went for option B, let me see your hands up. Don't be shy. Some actually went for option B, which is absolutely incorrect. Alright. So it says, the first was a dash, which has to do with publication. So let's say, for instance, I write on my Facebook page what is not right about a particular organization. I'm going to be charged for what? I'm going to be charged for what? A libel. But let's say I come on Facebook to start uttering what I'm not supposed to utter. What will I be charged for? Slander. Slander. So slander assists in speech. Are you with me? Yes. Slander assists in speech. Libel assists in writing. And for battery, what is battery? Beating? Yes, when you engage in physical combat with another person, then you can be charged for battery. So in this case, we are not talking about the battery of your touch. We are not talking about the battery of your phone. This is a law term. So you take note of that. So what is the correct answer there? Libel. So it simply means the Director General must have published something that was not worth publishing. Alright, the second paper was on motion of dash, summons, order, decision, interlocutory injunction. Alright, for interlocutory injunction, it simply means that when you've been sued to court, and maybe whether the case is settled in your favor or not, you are not given the opportunity to make any publication about it. You can't say this is what happened in the court of law. So you are restricted to say anything. So, and that is why after some law court or after some law case, some persons are restricted from granting an interview. It means you can't go to have an interview based on what the court has ordered you to do. Is that okay? So the correct answer there is D. Alright, it says the second paper was on motion of interlocutory injunction, which if granted by the court would restrain the Director General or the dash from publishing further anything on the staff of the ministry or the dash. Alright, or what? Number 16 now. Alright, number 15 should be what?
Defendant.
Defendant. And 16 should be what? Defendant. 15 is what? What option is B? What option? Defendant. Alright, there is difference between defendant and defender. Are you with me?
Yes.
There are two different things. Defender is someone who defends. That is a defender. But defendant is someone being defended. Is that taken now? Yes. Someone being defended and someone defending. There are two things there. It's just like tutor and treatee. Is that taken? Tutor and treatee. Someone is, the tutor is the one training the treatee. So the defender is the one defending the defendant. Alright, we move. It says again. Alright, for 16, what do you go for in 16? 16. Plaintiffs. Who is the plaintiff? Who is the plaintiff? Alright, let me hear from you, please.
Pass it to that. No. Pass it to that.
Who is talking? We did this thing on Thursday. Who is the plaintiff?
You guys will see. Pass it to that.
So none of you could tell me who a plaintiff is.
No.
Who is the plaintiff? Samuel. Who is the plaintiff? I told you that in court case, we have two parties. How many parties do we have?
Two parties.
The first party is the plaintiff, and those are the one bringing the suit case. Are you with me? The lawsuit, rather. They are the one bringing the what? Lawsuit. They are the one charging you to the court, thinking whether it's their right. They are the plaintiff. And the other party is the defendant. People defending against the charge made by the plaintiffs. Those are the two parties involved in court case. We said all of these things on Thursday, but now you forgot it. I don't know why. Alright, we continue. It says again, on the day of the mention and the motion, the court became alive as early as 8 a.m. as at the dash was known. As the dash was known for its punctuality. Alright? What do we have? Alright, the presiding judge. The presiding judge is also known as the judge himself. So is the presiding judge because he oversees or presides over the court case. So presiding judge there is presiding there is just an adjective qualifying the judge. Alright, it says the plaintiff and their counsel were the first to come into the courtroom. Then came the defense counsel. At the dot of the hour, 3 banks were heard. Immediately after which the court clerk announced the presence of the judge. In no time, the court clerk read out the case and both counsel announced their dash. Alright? What? Appearance. So appearance here is actually talking about the availability in the court of law. And that is why they don't ask you to show in court. Rather, they ask you to what? In court. Is that taken? Those of you bending your head, be well seated. If you are not interested, you go home. It does not make use of the word present. It makes use of the word appearance. It's not like maybe in another case, presence wouldn't have made sense. It makes sense. But in the context of law, in the context of court, to make appearance. Are you with me? They don't even say your presence is needed against what? Them. Affidavit, counter affidavit. And lastly it says, alright, the motion was granted according to the merit of the arrangement of the first lawyer. Alright, so in this case, who scored 10 over 10 in that close comprehension? 10-10. 10-10. Alright, only Bisola, you too. Thank you so much. You too. Thank you. Ten over 10. Alright, a good one. Alright, what about the second close comprehension? Alright, we move. Alright. We consider question 31 to 50. Share question 31 to 50. That is question on nearest in meaning. Nearest in meaning. Question 37. Now that we've moved to question 37, there's no going back. Yes. 37, I can't attend to anything less than 37 again. We are going forward. Alright, 37. It says, the leader's decision was arbitrary. Was arbitrary. That is question 37. Remember here we are looking for opposite in meaning, right?
Yes.
Alright, nearest in meaning. Nearest in meaning. Alright, what is the meaning of the word arbitrary? As used here. Alright, so arbitrary means something that is random, not specific. Something not what? Specific. And that is why option A is correct. Yes, option A is correct. Arbitrary. Nearest in meaning? Is it 38? No, what we did now is 37. Alright, next. 38, erratic. His behavior was erratic. What is the meaning of the word erratic? Irregular. Something what? Something unplanned? Something that shows the sense of inconsistency. Erratic. Alright, so what do we have here? What did you say?
Unpredictable.
Unpredictable. Option A is correct. Unpredictable. Alright? Next. 40. You shouldn't be asking me questions like 40 again. Imminent. It's even part of the word we considered in class. So you should be so used to some words that you don't even ask questions on them again. What does it mean for something to be imminent? Eh? What did you say? What does it mean when we say something is imminent? It's bound to happen. It is impending, like something close. Impending. When I say there is an impending what? Danger, it means something that is about to happen. So impending, imminent, something at hand, something close by, something that will happen soon, something that will happen in no time. That is imminent. Just like your JAMB exam, all right? B. So in this context, we are not going to use the word likely. The word likely here is showing probability. Are you with me? Likely. Let's say, for instance, it's likely to rain. It's probably going to rain. Does that mean it is imminent? It doesn't mean. So in some case it can mean that it is imminent. If it eventually rains, then it means what I said was giving us a sense of the fact that it was imminent, that it was going to rain. But in this case, likely here is referring to a sense of probability. So unlike what we have in option what? In option C, impending. So impending means definitely it's going to happen. And it is close by. It is near. Alright. Next. We are looking at question 31 to 50. If you are done with that, then we move to the next one.
43.
44. His tone was sarcastic. Alright, the word sarcastic is taken from the word sarcasm. Are you with me? And sarcasm, please listen up. Don't you must have made a rational decision. And your friends will just tell you, Sadiq, or God. So in that case, they are being sarcastic. They are mocking you. It is an indirect word, mockery. So that is what sarcasm means. Alright, next.
47.
44. The officer's response was terse. When something is terse, it simply means very short, brief. Yes, it means very short, very brief. Maybe not elaborate. Something not what? Elaborate. So the correct answer there is brief. Alright, next. 45. From the word controversy, you should know what that means. You should know. So that is C, right? Alright. 46. The plan proved to be counterproductive. What does that mean? So remember, we mentioned that when certain prefixes are used before positive words, they tend to give the opposite what? Meaning. Like what we have the other time, affidavit, counter what? Affidavit. So if we have productive and we have counterproductive, what does that mean? What does that mean? What question is that again?
46.
You said.
I'll go for B. Yes, ample. What option were you given? What correct answer is given to you? B. When we say counterproductive, it's just something like it's acting as entrance. Are you with me? Productive is positive. Counterproductive is opposite. So when something is productive, it is positive. Counterproductive is the opposite. So it is, yes. So it simply means it is harmful. All right. Next. 47. If you had done with the assignment I gave to you, you wouldn't have any problem with 47. What is the problem with 47? The man's lifestyle was austere, simple, something complex. Yes, now. Something serious, something severe in manner. What are we looking for?
Nearest in meaning.
Nearest in meaning. Yes, it's simple, something ordinary. It depends on the sense you are reading to us. Something trivial. Yes, something ordinary, simple, trivial. Ordinary, not extravagant. Yes. We are going to go with that. Alright? Alright, we are going to consider question 51 to 70. 51 to 70. Alright, you said what?
52.
52. 52? The principal was filled with scorn when we gave a reason for coming late. Opposite in meaning? Opposite in meaning. Sympathy.
Don't go back, Abi.
And objective.
Oh, well, Sister Grace, go back, Abi.
And objective.
Oh, well, Sister Grace, go to reply them. Grace, go to reply them.
Opposite of opinionated is objective. So, the option provided imperative, discursive, subjective are all synonyms of opinionated. Alright, next.
Which subject?
51.
Have you replied that person?
Which song?
Have you replied that person?
Opposite of that. Obnoxious. Obnoxious. Now listen. Your 55 from Figure 1 is A. Your 55 from Figure 2 is also A. It's also A. Alright, next. 58. He gave himself up by his plebeian taste. 58. Alright, what do we go from there? Yes, and the option here is C, right? C. Alright, you have C in your 58. Alright, we're moving forward. 64. The point you have made is quite apt. Opposite in meaning. Alright, opposite of apt is irrelevant. Irrelevant. For something to be apt, it means it is logically correct. Not focus, it is meaningful. But here, the opposite of that is irrelevant. Alright, going forward. Alright, those of you at the back, are you part of us here? Be well seated. Everyone be well seated. Those who are sleeping should be well seated. Tell them, wake them up. Be well seated, please. We are almost done. Except one. Why did you even ask me any questions on spelling? Sorry, how do you spell interpret? You are still putting E
Interpret.
Alright. 75.
No, they will pick.
Listen, both A and B are correct words, but only in this context we are looking at a particular one. So do not stress yourself too much. Alright, A is correct, actually. A is correct. But listen, B is also a word on its own, and it refers to a concept in geography. Yes, it refers to a concept in geography. Alright, we move on. 76. Alright, for 76. To understand 76, you have to know 3 different verbs. Those of you at the back, madam, will you just listen and apply your mind to wisdom? To understand the question 76, you have to know the meaning of 3 verbs. Line, lay. Let's say this is present, and you have past. And you have past what? Participle. The first line here can mean to be forceful. Like to tell lie, like you always do. And the past tense of lie is what? I'm talking to everyone. And the past participle? Still lie. So you can say, she lies always. She lied yesterday. She has lied today. And lie can mean to put yourself in a horizontal position. Is that taken? So you can have lie, lay. Yes, lie, lay. When I'm done with the class, I'm going to lie on the bed. Yes. This is the past form. He lay on his bed yesterday. He lay on his bed yesterday. He has lain on the bed before I arrived. The last one, lay. To put something in a horizontal position. Don't put it yourself down. Perhaps a book. Are you with me? And what is the past tense of that? Lay. Lay. Yes, to lay egg. So, but in this case, it is talking about a particular person. Yes. When the beggar was tired, he lay. That is option what? Option what? It is D. It is option D. What option was given to you? Yeah, it is D, please. Alright, next. 86. The two friends made promises to. Alright. 86. Please, 86. It is A. Each other. Alright, listen up. types of pronouns. I'm talking now. You. Hey, what is your name? Tony or what? Stand up. I'm talking to you. Then out, march out. If you are not ready for this class, go out. You don't have to come here. You were even packing the class for so long. Get out. Let's know those of you who are here. If you are for us, don't be against us. When we treated pronoun, we mentioned the type of pronoun called reciprocal pronoun. Did you remember that?
Yes.
And we said reciprocal pronoun refers to a type of pronoun that show mutual relationship between two or more what? Entity or persons. And there are just two examples of reciprocal pronoun. Each other and one another. So when the objects are just two, we represent them with each other. When they are more than two, we make use of one another. And here it says the two friends. Right? It says the two friends. What is that question again? Alright, 86. The two friends made promises to that when they met last year. They made promises to each other. Now, in this case, you have to be mindful of the fact that reciprocal pronoun is different from reflexive pronoun. For reflexive pronoun, it is giving us a sense that the action performed by a subject is also received by that subject. He injured himself. Who performed that action? He. Who received the action? He. It is showing that the doer of the action is also the receiver of the action of the verb. That is quite different from the concept of reciprocal pronoun. Reciprocal pronoun is actually saying, I'm doing to you what you do to me. It is showing mutual action, mutual relationship. There is difference between they love themselves and they love each other. They love each other simply means the first person loves the second person as much as the second person also loves what? This is the first person. But they love themselves simply means I love myself, you love yourself. Everyone is loving oneself. So it simply means they love themselves. That is the difference between reflexive and reciprocal pronoun. Alright. Now for one another it is used for more than two. It is used for three or more. Now for instance, let's say Emmanuel stand up. Yes, stand up too. Yes, stand up too. So in this case now, if I'm saying they love themselves, the three boys love themselves, it simply means Emmanuel loves himself. What is the name? Richard loves himself. And you what? Owe loves himself. He loves himself, he loves himself, he loves himself. Then I can say they love themselves. But does that mean one person loves another person? No. But if they love one another, it means Emmanuel loves these two. This person also loves these two. This one also loves these two. So the action, the love is mutual. That is the difference between reflexive and reciprocal. Alright. So in exam situation at your seat, you are going to see something that points your mind to whether the action expressed is mutual or reflexive. Alright, 94. 94. All right, 92, let me have mercy on you. 92, it says, between you and me, I will say that the equipment has outlived its usefulness. A, I believe the equipment is no longer useful, either of us. That is wrong. Honestly speaking, I really do not enjoy the fact that some of you are just standing, some of you are having side discussion, and I think you should know better, especially at this time, at this period we are now, that you are so close to your exam. Only, what is the problem? Why are you nodding your head like I can't manage that? Your attention now should be for me. It should be for me. So why do you think A is correct? Now, this is the interpretation of that question. When someone made mention of between you and me, between you and me is an idiomatic expression that simply means in confidence. Yes, in confidence that this that I'm about to tell you is secret. Let it just be within us. Let it be between what? Us. Yes, and that is what the Yoruba people will say. Láàrin èmi àti ìwọ. Yes. It's saying in confidence, in secret. So in this case, it says, between you and me, I would say that the equipment has outlived its usefulness. Does that have anything to do with you and me? No, it has nothing to do with between you and me. It has nothing to do. It's only saying that, let me tell you a secret. I want you to know a secret, that this equipment is no longer what? But make it a secret. That is the meaning of that expression. So it says, I believe that the equipment is no longer useful to either of us. Are we talking about the usefulness of this equipment?
No.
No. It is not about that. So B says, I believe the equipment continues to be useful to either you or me.
No.
No. Emeka regretted. No. All right, my idea of the usefulness of the equipment should remain known only to the two of us.
Yes.
Yes. Listen, it says, my idea of the usefulness of the equipment is shared by both of us. No, it is not shared by both of us. Rather, it should remain known to only two of us. So it's just like saying, you want to buy that phone, let me see you. Between you and me, that phone is not good. So I'm telling you that the usefulness of that phone is what I've come to discuss with you, that the phone is not good enough for your purchase. I'm telling you that in secret. So this person is actually telling the listener that the equipment has outlived its what? Usefulness, that it is not good. So it doesn't really have anything to do with them per se. Rather, it is saying they are discussing about the usefulness of the equipment, which is now something that should be made known to both of them. So it's just like saying in secret, in confidence. Is that taken? So the correct answer there is what?
C.
The C. The C. But you missed that? Badly. All right. 94. It was between the devil and the deep blue sea. D. Yes. The answer is D. Dynamo means a situation where you can Is that taken? Who asked you to use this question? Alright, we move. 19. The boys who rioted were suspended by the principal. Only some of the boys rioted and they were suspended. All the boys rioted and were suspended. Many boys rioted and were suspended. A few boys rioted and were suspended. It is A. Only some of the boys. Wait! Wait! The boy who rioted. Boys who rioted. Alright, let's go for A. It is A. 95 is A. We are not given the sense that all of the boys rioted. So the question is actually saying the boys. Wait! Quiet. I know it's something I have to remind you all the time. Those of you bending your head, be well seated. I don't like that. Marketmen, be well seated. You are not even smiling with me. What have I got? Don't worry, that will be simpler than this. But the question is actually simple. Yes. I gather simple questions. Wisola, am I wrong? Alright, it says here. Listen up, listen up, listen up. In answer to the question as to how life is written in, those of you having side discussion, you can excuse us and go outside to have a detailed discussion. In answer to the question as to how life is written in, the stranger said, it never rains, but it pours. That is an idiomatic expression. Alright, what does that mean? Right, hey, the blessings of life showers on him like heavy rain. No. He is contented with his improved country. That is an option we likely go for. And it is wrong. Things are getting decidedly worse.
Yes.
His financial status is deteriorating. No. What option were you thinking? Yes, C is correct. Yes, it never rains, but it pours. It means that I don't feel I'm small, getting worse. Alright, next. You can even ask me one or two. Alright, so what again? 190. It's okay. It's okay now. Let's have it quiet. Gideon, you and your wife up. Quickly. It's okay, please. It's okay. I really don't know why I will be having a class and I'm calling you here and you having a Romeo and Juliet discussion. In English class, if we were to be in literature class, will have understood you better. But in English class, there's no need for that. How will you account for that in account? Without making financial distance. Chemical bonding is not equal to comfort. So you should take note. There is time for everything. Alright, we move on. Alright, one more time. Who are these people standing up? Abba, sit down. One more time. That's the main point of the lecture. Can we have it quiet, please? Madam, keep short. That's the main point of the lecture given by the director of the institute. All right. Here, it is those where it is put it down. Gideon, sit. Tell your companion to sit too. When I told you I know the right word to use to keep it short, thought I was joking. That is not even one of them. I've got words in my mouth. Yes. And sometimes they give me something like I value alcohol. Alright, next. 149.
Thank you.
Alright, 140. Someone just asked me 195. Don't worry, that is what I'm going to treat now. I should be in another class now. Toby, what did you go for in 195? All right, let's go. I'm talking now, please. I'm done with the correction. And now you should listen. Listen now. Listen now. I like it most time when you ace my trajectory. Yes. As though you knew that I'm not even comfortable here. How how on this earth would someone just take me from 140 to 195? And I'm very sure the person is tired and want to leave this class early. It's okay. But now I hope you're happy, girl. What is your name? Stand up. Don't look back. You. Yes. Are you happy now? Right. You must be. You can have your seat. You sit like a queen that you are not. Alright. Now, I'm happy with the facts. From indication, from statistics now, I'm happy with the fact that most of you got very good score in your 1 to 10 and in your 11 to 30. 11 to 30, yes. And that is what you must target. You can't endeavor to lose any mark in your comprehension. It's very important because your comprehension does not take equal mark as other English questions. Every question on Lexi Headmaster 2 takes extra mark. They have better score than ordinary English questions. So you don't joke with them. So I wish you well. We meet again. Alright, thank you. One night with you.